Before starting to plan our media products, we looked and researched what real media products look like and what they try to convey to their audience. The codes and conventions of music magazines stay the same throughout, and when creating one of these products, there are certain ways in which you should meet the conventions. Meeting the codes and conventions, the audience feel gratified when they can identify the types of genre that a music magazine is trying to convey. Analysing similar tech analysis for prelim and main tasks, we were able to identify the key concepts and what we should do to meet the criteria. The codes and conventions are the way in which a meaning is conveyed by using signs and signifiers. The signifiers have deeper meaning to something. To be able to do this with our main task, the first thing we had to do was to show that we had an understanding of the forms of codes and conventions. For example, to help us, we looked at the same genre of music magazine we were going to produce. The first thing we did was to separate the subgenre separately into the two different genres. The indie conventions of magazines were to look unique. As looking unique was a code and convention of the indie magazine, naming our product unorthodox followed this structure. The meaning of different, unlike unusual products. We looked at Q magazine and NME magazines to help us. The colours that they used in the indie rock magazines were mainly reds, whites, blues and blacks. Therefore, the forms, codes and conventions of these magazines helped us to do the same with our magazines. To convey the indie, we used whites and reds. The type of model that was conveyed in our product was also presented as indie. To help us choose what model we would use, we looked at our subject matter research and what existing artists look like on their products. I discovered that I wanted my model to wear a long red skirt that I was inspired by as I saw Florence Welch wear this in her double-page spread. Looking at models from existing real media products helped me to identify what sort of posture, facial expressions they would use. Looking straight into the camera was a form of codes and conventions, therefore followed this. On the other hand, the rock genre we did was also inspired by other real media products and used these products to help ours look real. The typical colours we found by analysing our SDAs, but also researching rock magazines such as Rolling Stones and Rock. The red and black colours were also used, which fitted nicely with our genre together, overall using reds, whites, blues and blacks. The flat plans that we created based on our codes and conventions also helped us to identify the real products. Doing this for prelim and main, we were able to identify to understand what types of things that we should use on our magazines, such as the typical place and where a pug should be at the top corner of a magazine. Additionally, following this, we edited our photos and used columns in our double-page spread to look like real magazines. Mimicking the way in which everything was edited in post-production, we were able to fit this into our genre.